Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is David Beeson. I'm your host for today's conversation. And my guest today is Jordan Harris, the CEO of Yotta Energy. We're going to be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, share a peek of what it's really like to build and operate a business. Jordan, welcome to the show today, and thank you for being here. I would love for you to give us a little bit of background of who you are, tell us a little bit about your business as well.
Yeah, thanks, David. Jordan Harris, CEO of Yotta. I've been here for about 2 years. I joined to be the CFO in early 2024, and shortly thereafter, my role expanded considerably. I became the interim CEO, sat in that capacity for about 8 months, and became CEO and permanent CEO to the extent that exists in early 2025. Prior to joining Yotta, I was in a venture investing role at a group within Koch Industries called Koch Disruptive Technologies. There, I invested more than $1 billion in the solar and battery storage value chains. I really understood the challenges with deploying solar and storage and delivering those savings in the C&I environment and to C&I customers. C&I's commercial and industrial. So that's an industry term. And you see these challenges anytime you fly into any major American city. There are a bunch of empty rooftops. They shouldn't be. That's unutilized space. It could host solar. It could host batteries. It could be generating electrons and saving those customers money. And there are a number of reasons that they don't have the generation capacity, and Yotta's solution solves a lot of those challenges. So prior to venture, I was in investment banking, and then a long time ago, I was in the Marine Corps. So it's great to be with you today.
Yeah, happy late Veterans Day.
Oh, thank you.
So I know you kind of talked a little bit about how the ownership structure works. You said that there's a board, right?
Yeah, correct. So Yotta is a venture-backed company.
Not sure about.
Yeah, so venture capital raised capital from a number of different investors. It started long before I got here with friends and family and angels and seed stage investors, and then we got into more institutional capital around 2022. And so we've got a board of directors that consists of a number of those investors, and they're appointed board members. So they, oversee the business and corporate governance, and it's my job to, report to them and manage the day-to-day of Yotta.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what role you currently play in the business. Like, what's a day in the life of Jordan?
Yeah, so right now we're in a fundraise, so that's a separate job in addition to my normal day-to-day. But really, I'm non-technical. I am not a engineer, so that lends itself to a number of potential challenges being the leader of a tech company. We're developing a hardware and software solution, so there's simply some things I don't know and I don't know how to do. But what I can do is I can ask questions. I can elevate myself from the day-to-day, anticipate roadblocks, make sure the team has the right resources they need, that they're thinking about the work they're doing from a holistic manner, make sure they're goal setting and make sure that they're staying on task. So my day-to-day is everything from monitoring, site performance, uptime, making sure the engineering team is on track with their next milestones, reviewing, customer dialogue and POs, and really working with the other executives and down to the, lower level team members to solve problems and get out in front of, anticipate problems.
Yeah. So I know a little bit about like residential solar a
Yeah.
little bit. You said that you work more on like the commercial side of solar.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, yeah, whenever I worked for a solar company for a little while, and with it being residential, at least around the time of COVID and stuff, I heard a lot about like a lot of volatility that was like advantage of a lot whenever it came to it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that's something has that impacted the commercial side at all with a lot of these companies that did a lot of these things or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I assume you're speaking of the solar coaster, which is a name that the industry has. And I think it started in the early 2000s and then again in the teens and then most recently, I think with the big beautiful bill and whatnot, created a bit of a hiccup in the industry. And residential, the resi market came out perhaps most impacted by that legislation. But the commercial and industrial market and energy storage in particular, really in a great position. And so I think, maybe our lawmakers recognized that the C&I market is vastly underpenetrated and we need to go and deploy that. And so they've kept some of the incentives in place that enable that deployment to accelerate.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So I know a lot of CEOs and business owners have a lot of trouble, or not a lot of trouble, but they have a lot of things on their plate. You're working a lot of hours. So I'm curious. It's always a fun question like that. So if I were to give you an extra 10 hours back each week, how would you invest those hours? Would it be more into work? Would it be personal life? Would it be family time?
Um, yeah, I mean that's a good question. I mean, there's definitely some stuff that would go into work for sure. But yeah, I'd utilize some for my family as well. I think there's stuff in the week that gets kicked to the weekend or gets kicked to the evening. So I do that during the day and then have more time at home probably. Um, my inbox would likely be a little cleaner for sure. If I had a few more hours. I like to read. I'm a student of business books and student of the game, if you will. So I like to read that stuff. So I like to sharpen the saw when I'm not working. So.
Yeah. So what makes your business unique? How do you communicate what makes your business stand out against the competition?
Yeah, well, it starts with the energy storage product. That's really the first unlock to our solution. There's a company called Enphase. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. They pioneered module level power electronics and have grown into a very successful company, largely focused on the residential side of the market with that architecture. We've expanded upon that with module level energy storage, and that brings a lot of the benefits of Enphase's solution and expands upon it with energy storage, which is where you get the real value from solar and storage in most markets. It's the battery that creates a lot of the value, not just the solar. And so our solution streamlines everything from design to installation and permitting and operations and maintenance. So it results in a more efficient system that delivers the lowest total cost of ownership and thus the most savings to our customers. And if you think about rising electricity costs people are experiencing at their homes, at their businesses, in a way we haven't really seen in years, and this is driven by a number of factors. You hear about AI, you hear about data centers. That's true, but there's a lot of other costs getting put on the system, and in the end customers having to bear a lot of that. And so we're able to bring a solution to them to mitigate and offset a lot of those costs. And ultimately, if you're a business owner, you've got an economic incentive to reduce your OPEX because all of those savings result in increased profits. And that, for most businesses, that goes straight into their pocket. So that's it's all about delivering savings to the end customer.
Yeah. What is one thing you wish more people knew about your industry and business?
I wish they knew that it didn't have to be so hard to deploy solar and storage in the C&I market. A lot of people think it's challenging and it's not worth the effort. And our competition often isn't some other solution; it's doing nothing. And I think one of the things we're hoping to raise capital to do is to increase our sales team and our marketing spend so we can get the word out there and help educate the end customer on all the various ways we can help them save money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm happy you brought up marketing. Kind of going to use that to transition a little bit and
Yeah.
talking about some marketing. My background's in marketing. I went to school for marketing. My dad owns a marketing company that I worked at since I
Okay.
was 16. I do a lot of digital marketing. So My whole background is that, so I'm obsessed with it. I love to talk about it. So I'm curious, what percentage of your monthly sales typically is invested back into your marketing budget?
Um, I would say it's pretty low, frankly. It's mostly trade show stuff that we do. There's just a number of trade shows throughout the year we're expected to be at. Right now, our monthly, like our revenue or our spend as a percentage of sales is going largely into tools to enable our team to better target in customers, so that they can spend their time more wisely. And then we are going to places where our end customers are. So, as we think about it, where is our end customer? Well, they own apartment buildings. We're going to the multifamily trade shows. We're going to the self-storage trade shows. We're obviously going to all the various industry conferences, and that's the bulk of our marketing spend right now. I think we don't have a marketing. We're a pretty lean team. Our sales team is 2 people. Um, uh, so we don't have a marketing person, so it's really all in-house and organic. And so I think one of the things we hope to expand upon is that sales and marketing effort, and get more creative on how we can engage with the end customer, and again help educate them on all the solutions that are available to them to save money.
Yeah, yeah, no, makes sense. And yeah, I think I guess it would make sense, like, because I come from the digital marketing realm with
Yep.
videography and creating videos. And I guess like for a market like this, that's kind of hard to make sure that you can find how to target the correct audience, specifically with like video creation and that type of marketing. I feel like it would be a lot more difficult rather than the organic going around
Yeah,
networking events.
it's tough. We've had some success with things online and creating our own videos, and but nothing has been wildly successful that we've been able to continue to run at it yet. And so a lot of it's also, frankly, it's just lack of bandwidth and a lack of capital. You know, we can only deploy so much money at marketing when we've got a product to develop and
Yeah.
deploy and all of that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. What approach do you have to tracking your leads? Do y'all use a CRM? Do you guys have a CRM that you prefer? Do y'all use
Yes.
any specific one?
Yeah, so the sales and marketing team have historically used HubSpot, and that's where all of that gets managed out of. We also manage some investor related communication out of there as well, and then that interfaces with NetSuite. And so a lot of the customer engagements done in and around HubSpot and tracked via HubSpot, and then as we go through the sales funnel and convert it to a PO, that gets kicked into NetSuite, and there's a handoff between those two things.
Awesome, awesome. So, I know you mentioned having a decent sized team. How big is the team currently?
We've got 27 people, so about half of whom are engineers.
Awesome, awesome. How would you describe your leadership style in business, and has it changed over the years?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's certainly in business. It's certainly changed since I was in the Marine Corps for sure. Vastly different, vastly different dynamic. But yeah, I think I came in and I was still getting my arms around I came in to be the CFO, and I was still getting my arms around the finances of the business. And I found my role expand to include the entire business. And so um, I had to be much closer to all of the details because I was trying to learn and get my arms around everything. And as I've done that, I've been able to take a step back and elevate myself, and also developed a trust and understanding with the other executives, and also the other team members we have. And I know their capabilities, their strengths, and also knowing your team's weaknesses and understanding their gaps is also really important. And that's where I can plug in and maybe help see and fill some of their blind spots. And so um also, frankly, like asking the questions that aren't being asked. And
Yeah.
a lot of times when we've got people on the team that are so process they're so focused on achieving the goal, they might not be thinking about the bigger picture. And so always keeping, particularly the engineers, they're developing a product, but the product is part of a solution, and they need to think about it, with the entire solution in mind. So, um, I mean, I also, frankly, this comes from the Marine Corps. It's trying to lead by example, and it's rolling up my sleeves and doing the work when it needs to be done, even if it's not my job, right? Like, we had a shipment come in not too long ago of some battery cells for some test units, and our supply chain team is pretty lean. It's one person, and he needed help, so I was out there moving boxes with him and just finding ways to carry water for Yotta and do what needs to be done. And I think that that example, you know, it helps, lead the team in other ways.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I was a team member and I saw you over there pulling boxes, I mean,
Yeah,
like coming from experience, it's always nice to see the leader be okay with stepping down and doing the other stuff whenever it
right,
needs to be done.
right.
So, leading by example, as you said,
Yeah,
I think is really good. Well, I think if you're ready, I think we'll transition to a couple rapid fire questions.
sure, man. Yeah.
What is the key to success for you?
Um, I would say the key to success for me in this role is making sure I can get the best out of the team we have, and that every person we hire makes us better as an organization and continue to get the best out of them. It's also making sure that they know the objective, understand what the goal is, and they're on their mission, and that they've got the tools in place to go achieve it.
Awesome. What is a book or podcast you're reading or listening to right now?
So I listen to a bunch of podcasts. Listen to All In, Brad Gerstner's podcast, the one that Bill Gurley used to be on. Listen to that a lot. Let's see, I was listening to Founders, a conversation about Larry Ellison this morning. So a lot of podcasts. And then, tons of books, mostly nonfiction, business related or something like that. Uh, the book I've read most recently that I like the most is called Thinking in Systems. It's about it's about kind of systems engineering, but not at the super in-depth level. And it's a fantastic book about just how to think about anything, but particularly our system, our solution, this business, and anticipating bottlenecks as we scale.
Yeah, check that one out. Thinking in Systems. I'm gonna look that one up. So this is kind of a fun question I always like to ask. If you had a little bit of magic dust and you could choose one spot in your business to sprinkle in, everything there would be perfect, no more problems. Where would it be and why?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this magic dust does, but for the purposes of this conversation, I would sprinkle it on engineering. Not because we don't have a very capable team, we do, but this is we're developing hard tech software, the whole thing, and any magic dust I could sprinkle and any money I have, which is effectively magic dust, is going to be deployed into the engineering team. So that's where it would go, and it would ultimately just again, give us a solution that delivers all the value it can for our customers and makes Yotta a profitable company.
Awesome. Well, before we get to the final question of the day, would you like to share with our audience how they can follow you guys, learn more, contact Yada?
Yeah, you can reach me at jordan@yottaenergy.com. It's YOTTA energy.com. And I'm on LinkedIn as well. And you can find us at yottaenergy.com for our website. And so if you are a business owner and have rising electricity costs, please reach out. We'd love to talk with you about how we can deliver savings for your business and ultimately put more money in your pocket.
Awesome. Well, we've come to the final question of the day, and that is what is most inspiring to you today?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I think what most inspires me is making Yotta a successful business. Um, I joined not necessarily anticipating a massive financial windfall. but believing that that was a possibility, that we had a great solution, that we had a great team, and that I was going to be able to grow personally and professionally in this role. On the last part, it has absolutely exceeded my expectations in every way. But you brought up the volatility in the space and the solar coaster. We have been through the peaks and the valleys as a team, and they're incredibly resilient. And this team, and the fact that through all of it we've lost no one, and they continue to work on achieving our mission, that inspires me and makes me want to make Yotta a successful company. So that's what's
Yeah.
inspiring me professionally, and then just being a good husband and father to my children, and my wife. It's probably on the personal side.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's
I couldn't agree more.
probably
Me and my
a typical answer on the personal side, but that's that's what being a husband and dad's about. So
yeah, me and my wife were actually expecting our first child,
oh,
going to be
awesome.
in April. We just found out it's a boy, so really excited about that.
Congrats.
Yeah, so super, super excited. But yeah, this was a really awesome conversation. I really enjoyed getting to, get to talk. And so thank you for sharing. Also, I just want to encourage all of you watching to save this show and come back and watch it again, because Jordan really did have some great insights for business. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that way you get notifications every time a new conversation drops just like this one. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thanks to you, Jordan, for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, David.
And I will see you all in the next episode.